and we still have the grand finals to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very good question. We like that one a lot. Let's take one more before we head back to the draft for game number 2. What is the best level 25 talent right now? Kevin.
There's a lot of really good talents.
An even harder question.
that one's really difficult. It's like,
I don't know how, like 230 talents?
230 talents.
Yeah. I know it's not triple arrows for Marana. I know that much.
It's probably not. I don't know. Are there any that really change the hero?
420 GPM.
Which one has like a 45-second reduction on respawn?
I don't know if I'd say those are that OP at 25.
Okay.
They can be, but I'm thinking like
something like the cooldown ones,
700 HP or like
when you get like 10-second cooldown,
good.
like mana voids, like those kind of things. Are kind of cool.
those can be good.
The old Ember Spirit level 25 was really good.
His is still pretty good now. It's like 2 more Searing Chains.
Before it was like permanent Searing Chains.
But like Searing Chains goes from like 300 damage now to 500 on like a 6-second cooldown with Octarine. It's pretty good. That's 5 seconds of root. That's super disgusting.
There's probably
right
some
now.
really good ones on like shitty heroes that we just don't think
you're
about.
like, oh, I totally forgot that exists. Or like Aphotic Shield going from 200 to 500 is incredible. Or like Illuminate going, there's a lot of things that are situationally good that it's hard to like pluck it out of the hero and say like, yes, this is the best talent, because usually it's balancing the hero. It's a hard question. I have to do research.
Speaking in absolutes is always difficult. Saying something is the best. That's like, who's the best Dota player?
Yeah.
Pretty hard to say.
Yeah. Well, today it could be.
PBD,
you could probably
obviously.
give an answer today, and then it would be different tomorrow.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sure.
Player-wise, anyway. I don't know. Talent-wise, depends on the patch.
Yeah.
Depends on which hero's doing well, I guess, at the same time. We are ready for our second draft, and game 2 will be underway. VGJ, of course, if you're just joining us, winning the first game in this particular matchup, and very convincingly, Kevin. So what did Vitality do here? It's back to the drawing board for them in a little bit, isn't it?
I felt like they were a bit on the defensive from the opening silencer pick. I felt like that really set the tempo for the match. They had to pick all these heroes that they kind of felt would work around it, but never really did. And a lot of times when I see Jug lineups, they look so good on paper, but they always just seem inadequate when it comes to the game. When they all just have picked these like safe, stun heroes, I need some OP stuff to mix in that lineup to really make it sparkle, I guess.
Jug lineups seem kind of like straightforward. So like on paper they look kind of good, which is like part of the reason why I think I sided with them.
Right.
But then like the game is so complex now, it just doesn't really work that way sometimes.
I'm just cheering they're going to have to remake the lobby, so we've got a couple of minutes. So what do you want to see, Gods, from Vitality in particular in terms of the draft?
I think they need to get something that Dogfight's can have bigger impact on. The Bounty Hunter pick just didn't seem to work. So if they can get an Earth Spirit on Monkey King, I think they'll make a big difference. His Pudge is actually amazing. Unfortunately, Pudge has kind of like disappeared with the nerfs. But
how did he get nerfed again? Was it like Hook doesn't hook Cyclone, stuff like that?
Can't pull neutral creeps anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That
so
was the glory patch for Pudge. Every game, first pick.
Go anywhere to jungle, basically. Fast level 2. Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know. There's a lot of hero variety that we could definitely see, but I think Silencer, does he get first round banned? It's hard to find a solution. It just makes the game so weird.
It might make sense for them to just go ahead and ban it. They're one game away from elimination.
Yeah,
they
get rid of it.
They thought maybe they could deal with it. Obviously, they didn't.
Or they take first pick. That seems to be another solution to it. It's like, whatever, we'll do that instead.
They should I mean, they had second pick game 1. It seems like every team is valuing first pick at this point, given like how strong like the Monkey King is. And
I wonder if we'll see any like Razor or Viper up against Silencers. I feel like that's a really good matchup in kind of like direction of the game. You just have this like mid hero who dominates, who doesn't really care about being silenced, and you just kind of group up and hit towers.
Razor's got some good talent.
Why have we not seen those?
Razor sucks.
Razor's got good talent.
I like the fact that Kevin's so blunt.
He's pretty bad right now. Like you can't farm very rapidly. You need tankiness and movement speed, and then you need like armor and magic. It's like it's a weird hero concept. Very cool concept, but it doesn't always fit.
Has he been picked at all? Probably not, right?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I think his level 10 talent's like 14 agility or something amazing now. Like he got like double buffed. His talents are getting real good.
Yeah, a couple more patches, he'll be relevant.
I think Razor is more playable than Viper because you can actually farm all right with Razor in the jungle using ulti and plasma field. Like it's not.
I think Viper is so much better in lane though, and I feel like he has more build variability.
Okay.
But there's definitely really good things about Razor.
Very similar heroes in like what they're looking to do. Like win lane, don't farm particularly well, try 5-man, be tanky.
Yeah.
A little bit of a change up in the bands.
So bad again.
Got rid of that Ursa.
Yep.
Interesting.
Afraid of the bear.
Maybe there's something IG really wanted to pick that Ursa just super beat. I guess the Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Totally forgot that hero wasn't
Yeah,
banned.
and they realize if they ban Lifesteal, they get Earth Spirit, so it's a pretty good deal for IG.V either way.
So Earth Spirit and
No, Earth Spirit's banned.
both banned.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to get one. If they're as in VGJ, can only ban one of those two.
Yeah,
Okay, so they keep the silence and they add the Terror Blade.
I mean, Terror Blade's great against Lifestealer. Just Metamorphosis, get a couple illusions, and it's enough damage output to kill him.
So a lot of that during the group stage, picking TB is in the first stage against Lifestealer openers.
Yep.
So what's the Lifestealer bomb here? Do they go with the obvious Slardar, or
No, not Slardar.
you don't like it against Silencer TB?
No. It's so bad against illusion heroes. They need like more AoE and more
I
clearance.
was
Centaur,
like, this is where
I guess.
some teams would pick like a Tinker or something early on just to counter a TB. Like that's what IG would do here. IG Classic.
Saw it yesterday.
Just bust out a Tinker first pick. That hero destroys Terror Blade.
So when you're drafting, you have to use what is in front of you. That's all you have, right? So VGJ, they see Lifestealer, they go, okay, what are we going to do against Lifestealer? Obviously, they love the Silencer. Just it seems like they love it every game at this point. But no reason to really pick anything else except for, you have your carry matchup already. You see Lifestealer's their one. Go ahead and pick your one.
Okay.
Take the one of the best ones against Lifestealer.
Yep.
All right, what's it say?
Good,
Red Eye, you can translate, right?
It says PPD sucks with lots of salt. Bit rude.
Paul's only good at doing
think the
verbal
Chinese fans
translations.
like me. I don't know if
doesn't-
that's true.
He doesn't translate written Chinese very
Yeah,
well.
I'm not good on the written stuff yet. So Darkseer. I haven't seen too many of the vacuum boys.
It's got good early roaming or early potential with Lifestealer, since you can just TP to lane, Iron Shell him, surge him in, something like that. Melee cores with Darkseer is always good. Plus it pressures TB fairly well.
Guardian Greaves carrier to deal with global silence.
Yeah, good point. And it provides teamfight as well. So if he does get Guardian Greaves, remove the silence, get the vacuum wall, that can really shut down a lot of the aggression. I think it's pretty good. Obviously TB illusions, pretty solid if you get one of those.
Absolutely.
And again, it's this theme of getting like self-sufficient laners. Like you have a Lifestealer who's going to likely be able to do a lot on his own. Darkseer, same kind of thing. So the supports are freed up to kind of move around the map a lot more.
So what are they going to get to deal with this Darkseer? Are they just going to try and, are they going to try lane? Are they going to potentially put the Terrorblade mid? Have they played Terrorblade mid at all?
Nope. Always been aggressive playing it in the safe lane.
Okay, so that's probably unlikely. I wonder if they'll do that kind of matchup. And if IG.V will try to pressure it with perhaps like a dual lane and like another melee support for their 4 position. You talked about Slardar.
What about like Spirit Breaker or something?
Spirit Breaker.
Against Silencer it's kind of bad, but
Is it?
isn't it?
Is it?
I mean, you charge before the
you two-
silence.
are you
It's
two
like he's
trolling
running
each other
in,
then?
you try to bait out the silence, I guess, and you turn and run away the other way, but I feel like it's
He's a
here
fast
comes
hero.
Spirit Breaker.
He's
Yeah,
a fast hero.
I guess if you
He
time it
plays,
right.
He plays really quickly. Like, charge in, die, global silence down, charge in again.
It's definitely good in the laning stage, I would say, against Silencer, but so they banned Slardar either way. Legion out. I think the Legion would have been really good for IG.V, but
A strong offlaner who's at least going to be able to maybe go toe-to-toe a bit in like a 1v1 against Lifestealer.
Nah, I like Spirit Breaker. Now that you said it,
Yeah.
it just makes, I like it. He's not a bad infest target, honestly. It's a little ghetto, but
Gets the job done.
yeah, it gets the job done. And the Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo, like even in the late game, you just Spirit Breaker charges the target in the back, Darkseer blinks in and vacuums. It's like a Ravage.
it's true.
You just got to get a little creative.
Peter likes that one. We also like the FY Tusk, which is going to make a return for game 2.
Picking the same heroes as game 1. Bold strategy.
Do you always think that? Because it seems to me like there are some drafters who love just saying, okay, well, you didn't figure it out, we're going to do it again then. And then there are other drafters who are very definitively like, right, we can't do that again now. We don't want to give too much away.
I've had a lot of experience, and when you kind of pick the same heroes and try to play the same way that you did in game 1, the other team's a little bit more ready for it.
Right.
So the game's a lot harder. That being said, Tusk still can work in this draft. I think that they really like it up against a Lifestealer or Jug, because it does have a lot of BKB piercing abilities. So in that sense, it does make a lot of sense.
I like it against Darkseer too because they needed something that had really good lockdown. And I was thinking like Crystal Maiden, maybe like how are they going to kill the Darkseer in the lane? They needed someone with lockdown that wasn't just going to feed the Lifestealer, and Tusk kind of solves that with Ice Shards and Snowball. Catch up to him, block his path. Once Surge is done, you should be able to get a kill.
He's also kind of like a pseudo defensive support where he can, he could peel or save Terrorblade if Terrorblade gets into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Snowball him up, and then when they pop out a Snowball, he'll have Sunder at the ready.
And they're all melee heroes now too, so even Frozen Sigil is like amazing right now.
So Sand King position 4, most likely. No Spirit Breaker. Disappointed. But
kind of crazy they pick Sand King versus Tusk. That's like the classical counter to Epicenter. Just pull everybody into your little snowball.
Oof. Same heroes. Same heroes, man.
Yeah. Well, they're asking the same question.
I don't know. I don't know. Lifestealer lanes pretty well against Centaur. Disruptor, there you go.
Well, they both knew those were coming, didn't they?
Some nice team fight combination with Darkseer and Disruptor, and now we have some Sand King for some additional lockdown. We have Sand King now as a nice vehicle for the Lifestealer. Probably a little bit better than Spear Breaker. I like where IG.V is headed. I think they're making some smart picks right now.
A lot of pressure going to be, again, like FY's tough. Like, you need to do well in the lanes to make this kind of a draft work, because teamfight-wise, IG.V.
Exactly, yeah.
Epicenter, Static Storm, Vacuum.
I favored the draft of IG.V last game, but VGJ and especially FY just totally outplayed them in the laning phase and in the mid game, and they were just way too far ahead for IG.V to really stand a chance.
But this, I feel like that can't happen again as easily, because that was with an Ursa. TB doesn't do what Ursa does. Like, you're not playing that fast tempo that's going to snowball out of control. Most likely, maybe TB can get some kills really early with Metamorphosis in lane and,
we'll see.
and
I can
dominate
see
lanes.
The way aggressive was like lane rotating. If he switches lane, he ganks it basically.
Yeah,
and if they get those kills, TB's going to be able to take the tower a lot faster than Ursa will. So worse on ganking, better on tower push follow-ups. So he's got some, it's like a different play style, but kind of similar. I do like IG.V's draft a lot, though. They're very good at pressuring. They have huge mobility advantage. VGJ still has lockdown problems, so I feel like IG.V's going to be able to weave in and out of fights better. And they're all pretty low cooldown, so like the threat of global silence is a bit less scary this game.
So what mids will come out last?
That's what I'm waiting to see. There's still the Lina. Definitely a viable option, but Lina Lifestealer Darkseer, not particularly the best cores up against Terrorblade. We saw a game where EG had cores similar to that, and they ended up winning. But they don't. They do lack some carry potential, which I would be concerned about.
What about just like Invoker on IG.V? Just get a BKB after after Ags or something.
Invoker could definitely work.
It's like you can just Tornado EMP the VGJ approaching lineup, and I feel like it just solves a lot of those issues. Gives them more kite potential.
Invoker would be nice, and they could pick it here 5th, kind of blind in Davici's pick, which isn't too bad. And then they only really have to worry about kind of like the TA for like the counter pick mid, but they have a Darkseer already who can deal with that decently well. But TA could be a problem. I'm not. Do you think they would pick TA into Darkseer?
I think if they're worried about winning mid, I don't think it's a bad idea. Damage-wise, it's a little bit straightforward, but I could see it being a good pick. Like BKB is going to basically make 3 heroes worthless on IG.V side, so I think TA's all right.
Getting a BKB here seems like a decent plan.
Yeah, I think if they pick Invoker, it makes a lot of sense. Ban Lina. Okay, so maybe a Lina ban could potentially mean they want a melee hero for mid. Oh, nice. We're killing it, panel.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
This is the TA,
that TA 5th pick?
It's so straight. It's so obvious, too. Like,
smarter than I thought it was.
Sunstrike plus Sand King is just going to, it's going to get them kills all over. I feel like Soundstrake's going to get wrecked in his lane this game.
Yeah.
He's got to be really careful in his positioning. I mean, Tusk can save him, I guess, and whoever else gets Burrow Sunstrike, but if they do a really good job. I mean, I feel like FY is going to be the better player here after last game, but. So the last pick is.
Suspense, man. It's killing me. Just pick TA. Make my dreams come true.
It's not really a freeze hero, but I mean, it suits the draft, so.
He's an aggressive, flashy player. I mean, TA's, I feel like, fits in that mold. Oh, Tinker.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, sure. Why not?
Peter's not that convinced.
I don't know. Their draft's pretty crazy. Both drafts are. I like IG.V once again, but I think maybe VGJ just might be the better team.
Kind of let you down last game. Are you willing to stick with them?
Yeah, I think Dogfights is in a better role on the Sand King. I think he's set up for it to have a much better early game. Bounty Hunter last game was kind of out of place, and he had a big task ahead of him, and he didn't really have the tools to do it.
So Vitality for PPD. Kevin, where you going?
I like the IG.V draft as well. I'm not sold on them being the better team, but I'll stick with IG.V for the draft-wise.
Gods, last one.
I'm gonna believe in FY. He's back. He's on Tusk again. Like I think he'll do enough to take game 2.
Okay. All right. So it's split again here at the panel in terms of the way the predictions have gone. Let's find out how it actually goes as we head back to our commentary team of Fogged and Coddle Guy for game number 2.
Thank you, Paul. Here again with my good buddy Fog. Fog, if you told me 5 years ago I was going to be in a two-piece suit in Shanghai, China, casting some of the best Chinese Dota, I would have said, give me a gram of whatever you're smoking. But we are here for some of the best Chinese Dota action. And game number 2, we're seeing VGJ draft a little bit of something old from game number 1, and then a little bit of something new, finishing things out with the Tinker. What do you think about these drafts now? Lots of team fight for IG this time.
I liked IG.V's again. I mean, I'm siding with Peter again. I might hate myself for it, but you know what? I did like what they were doing. You know, they have massive team fight. It just overall, they VGJ's doesn't have nearly as much. When they have the Guardian Greaves on the Dark Series, going to be able to get those nice combos up. They have good ways to defend. They have high scaling cores for later on, high burst to deal with the Terrorblade as well. And like Peter was saying as well, when you pick the same draft twice, the other team tends to be a bit more prepared for it. So this time, I think FY is going to be a bit... I would expect him to have a much harder game on those rotations. We do see IG.V going for those quick early ports out. This time, instead of going for that aggressive move, because I think that actually really hurt IG.V the last time, is when they went for that aggressive move, they didn't expect the Tusk to be able to turn it around in such success. So we see them putting out 2 wards right away, 1 ward in the mid lane and 1 ward to scout out the movement in the enemy jungle. So that's going to be the big one. They're going to be watching where FY is moving this time much better than the last time.
Yeah, it's not even that VG have such a as strong of a laning phase draft as they did in the previous one, but you can just see the extra caution already from IG to ensure they have a good laning phase and can scale up, even maybe now making audible calls a bit here. We're seeing InJuly head to the top lane on his Darkseer in preparation.
A little bit of a role swap, right? Paparazzi playing the Invoker and Sakata playing the Lifestealer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, it's not like I know the history of this team well enough to say, is Paparazzi just a better Invoker player than Sakata? Sakata, as we know, is a flashy player.
Paparazzi plays a lot of those mid heroes too.
Yeah, they're both
well-established
mid laners.
He does play a lot of the Invoker. I'm pretty sure of that one. And it looks like he's going for Quas build first, so maybe he's going to be going for like a Quas Wex build so they have some catch for the Tinker. However, now they're not going to have the potential from the global Sunstrikes with the Senkin. We did see that come into fruition in a lot of these games where if the Sunstrikes weren't there, they would be missing a lot of the kills. So we'll see which build he wants to go for. Maybe he just wants the Quas regen in order to be able to survive what the Tinker dishes out, be able to harass him back a little bit, and maybe go for some quick early rotations.
As our laning phase gets underway, remember the great Ben Merlini Wu even saying the role swaps usually never lead to being a good thing, but we'll see if in this case IG.V do it for
ROTK
the better.
Getting a lot of pressure with that open wounds on him.
ROTK in trouble in the early game.
But rotation coming out from FY. Dogfight's now getting it turned on him. They should be okay here, though, to back out the shards. Not able to trap him.
This is going to be a rumble in the south here as we get try-on-try action. Lots of setup potential here, of course. Super can do his damage, kind of harassing a bit on the Disruptor, but obviously needs more levels if he needs potential to kind of lock down ROTK or anyone from the side of Vici here.
Pretty interesting lane setup, I think. They maybe wanted to dodge the Darkseer with the Terrorblade, but IG.V going for that aggro tri-lane. Now it's aggressive in a 1v1 versus InJuly. I don't think he wants that. He already picks up the TP. He wants to get the hell out of this lane.
Yeah, he tried to even pull the lane a bit, but
he can get a couple last hits. Like early on, level 1 Ion Shell, you can walk up. You have a high base damage. You can get a couple, but yeah,
he's like,
lane swap definitely needs to be coming out.
This. You see the Tusk heading out from the lane right now, but as aggressive shows up. Did he also pop his level 1 Metamorph yet? No, he didn't even use it to try to bully back the Darkseer. He's holding on to it for now. So we'll see if he decides to use it to establish dominance more so in the bottom lane now or not. Looks like a rune to spawn.
Instant switch up again now. IG.V, they see the Terrorblade move bottom. Lifestealer go top, Sang can go top. Darkseer's probably going to make a rotation there soon. First, he throws the Ion Shell onto Dogfights though, so he can put some aggression onto ROTK here. ROTK actually eats the stun, taking a good amount of damage here. ROTK.
Body block, body block,
he's
body
dead.
block. Smell my Sand King bottom as he just prevents him from making his way back home, and it's ROTK with the first blood.
InJuly gets 322 gold from that one. Very fortunate for him. That's pretty much the dream as your Darkseer. He's like, here, take this Ion Shell. Oh, you got me a kill? Thanks, man.
Sweet stuff here for the DS.
Yep.
And for IG to be able to kind of mirror match and keep Vici in check at this point. It's going to be on them.
So he went for the Exort anyway. I thought it was a slight possibility he might go for the Quas Wex just because he started with Quas, but I think this is the much more appropriate build for the Global Sunstrike with the Sand King. It also gives him much more team fight potential and scaling potential. Quas Wex has been pretty, I mean, I haven't really seen it that often actually. It's been pretty rare.
I don't know. For me, at least, I'm not personally a big Invoker player, but whenever I see all these amazing stars play it, they all have a different take on the Invoker.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting what Paparazzi thinks, whether it's skipping talents, whether it's favoring damage, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I do like the way that he went for the Quas first too, because versus Tinker, it's actually a pretty hard matchup for Invoker if you don't do that, because you actually can get very harassed down because he has the range advantage, Tinker has damage advantage, and he has burst from his 2 spells as well as laser, making you miss CS. So it's a cool approach coming out from Paparazzi for this mid lane, and he's doing very well for himself. 15-7 to 13-8. He's winning the lane.
Well, we're not seeing laning pressure yet from VGJ, and that's when you normally scout out what FY's up to and where he's going to be trying to get. But he floated towards the mid lane. No openings really there. Coming back towards the bottom lane because you got to pull all the attention there, which maybe give IG credit. Drawing the the supports from VGJ to kind of stay put here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that's also what they were. Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They really want to pressure the Terrorblade with some type of aggro duel or aggro tri-lane in a way, and also that ward that they have in the jungle. It's spotted FY rotating like 3 or 4 times already, so you can tell they had a much better game plan coming into this one. ROTK eats the stun, getting pressured with the rage. Sakata maybe will bring him down, saving the stun for ROTK, though Dogfight's trying to apply Caustic onto the creeps. Will it be enough? It will not. ROTK able to just walk out of this one. Sakata, though, no mana. Ooh. Looks like he's going to get turned on here. Creeps on him, tower on him as well soon. Fenrir. Will they be able to, with the snowball coming up, FY saving it as long as possible. Dodges the stun as well. FY.
Damn.
He's got Arcane Rune as well. He should have Ice Shards coming up in a second. Gets another trap.
All worth it now. What rotation power coming out. What a performance already from FY. Not able to kind of be the bully in the laning phase, but he can respond at a moment's notice and turn a fight right over on his ass.
Big overcommittal coming out from IG.V, going for that dive between the tier 1 and tier 2, going for a centaur. It's a very hard kill to go for that. When your rage is such low duration, you don't have that much damage coming out, no burst coming out from the Sand King Lifesteal just yet. I feel like it's a little bit bold, a little over eager for them to go for that one, but beautiful reactions coming out from FY, coming out from Fenrir as well. Both these supports now, even though they were a little under leveled from the pressure in the bottom lane, they're both level 4 now on the Tusk and the Silencer. That's like the dream for VGJ.
And unfortunately a nightmare for IG. You just went through all that effort, you rotated lanes, you put down those deep wards, so you prevented stuff like that, and that you could hold that laning advantage, and now they just kind of let a bit of that power slip away. And
Fenrir gets now a D ward in the mid lane.
Yeah.
So the support's coming out for VGJ, doing very well.
Fenrir also plants down another ward up into the high ground area and maybe see if the Invoker decides to step off from the mid lane, head off to the jungle, and they leave it for a support on his own. They know that they can pounce at that moment, or maybe just to scout that guy back there. Dogfight's rotating through the lane. But aggressive straight to the jungle here. Hasn't really been able to have a strong laning presence himself. Obviously started at the bottom, then to the top, was in a position against Darkseer, then they had to head back bottom.
Oh, nice smoke break by Dogfights here.
Okay.
Should be okay. He has the Burrow Strike to get down the cliff. Is he able to do the Ice Shards, though? Is it enough to block him so he can't stun over? It is!
Wow. Not able to get the range to make it to the safe zone below. FY sets up another one, or Assistant setting up another one, and VGJ claim another life. 3 to head.
Those low levels of Burrow Strike, sometimes you're clicking down the cliff. It's not, the range is just not very far. It's just very hard for people to get that. And the Ice Shards just blocking that slight little margin again. FY just beautiful rotations coming out. Even though he was under the vision a lot of the time, he's still making it work with the TP top and now the rotation bottom.
That's when I just feel like I scream pathing and just pull the plug. That is unreal. Well, VGJ get another. Freeze has been uncontested here in the mid lane, building his way now towards those shoes.
The cores on the side of IG.V are doing very well, though. They're all just pretty much free farming. Besides the Lifestealer with that one unfortunate dive in the top lane, he was able to net himself the top tower already. So 7 minutes in, very early. Paparazzi under the vision of that ward, as you mentioned previously. So every time he's going to go for that jungle resortment, they will know.
See, and then now we have Disruptor heading towards the mid lane, and he, it's like he's there, and VGJ know he's alone. They ping him out at the moment. They might eventually go over and do something about it, but yeah, as mentioned, continuous strong warding game here for VGJ, and with that laning ward might have spotted this rotation coming out. Dogfight's hoping to get a setup here. They're even bringing in more reinforcements, it looks like.
They want the tier 1. This is like the standard, the cookie cutter lifesteal rotation that we've been seeing a lot. It's also because aggressive is gone. They like, this Terrorblade is not laning, he's just completely jungling. We have to take advantage of this. Pressure towers, close the map control, close the jungle potential off from VGJ. Here we go, Surge coming in.
Okay, ROTK getting shoved back a bit.
And now suddenly Sakata phases on forward with an ion shell. FY though, the nearby babysitter hits him with the shards to help block him inside, and that chase is going to be stunted. Now they're looking to go for dogfights, hiding within the sandstorm. They already have the sentry down. He gets the surge.
The Arcane Curse, though, might be enough to bring him down with the Orb of Venom. And he does actually get brought down. The Orb of Venom tick plus the last tick of Arcane Curse before that actually brings him down. ROTK, though, getting pressured by Ion Shell. Sunstrike, not really needed, but would have cleaned him up anyway. Nice little wall committal from In-July. They net themselves a tower, so losing dogfights, netting themselves ROTK in a tower, worth it for IG.V.
It is. It takes them a little longer than they like. This is farm time still for the Tinker in the mid lane and for the Terrorblade in the top lane a bit, but yeah, the IG came in there, they had a mission at hand, and mission is accomplished.
I love seeing that this combo, though. We see the Fenrir FY combo. They're making the rotation. You're seeing the Silencer. He has 100% kill participation. Sure, it's only 9 minutes in, but they're making those rotations. And that's what I love to see when this duo it does come out.
Yeah, I was nervous because we weren't seeing that in the group stage from him at all, and I almost felt like I was like, what happened to the days of the FY Fenrir powerhouse duo? Well, it's a bit back in action here now for VGJ, with one already a game up. One more could secure him into the next round.
Aggressive, going for his own aggressive play onto Super by himself. Super, though, actually gets brought down. Aggressive just with the right clicks with treads. Actually being able to do enough. Super actually used his glimpse earlier on an illusion, so he didn't have it up there to be able to send aggressive away. So
he just shoved him in a locker with that one.
Nice individual play.
Yeah, freebie right there. Aggressive, you know, a bit wary in the early laning phase on finding a home, but now has been sitting comfortable here with an extra support kill.
I like what IG.V did, though. Since, you know, the meta was committed there, they think maybe he's going to try to get a little bit of chip damage on the tower, so they port 2 or 3 heroes up there to make sure that that doesn't happen. Sakata trying to go for an aggressive play onto ROTK, but ROTK notices him in time, gets the stun, freeze. 300 gold from that Boots of Travel to be able to get involved, make more space for that Terrorblade, but IG.V's dominating pretty hard in this early game, even though the kill score does not say so.
Yeah, they're still holding the lane dominance where necessary here. Tinker's going to be able to get a little bit more wiggle room in the mid lane, it looks like, for now, to be able to finish out those Boots of Travel, but VG are also persistent on getting ROTK to that bottom lane. I imagine they're hoping for him to get to that level 6, and then a Blink Dagger, I'd imagine, thereafter. Stampede could be a very valuable tool in this one. And
all good smoke coming out here for IG.V. Disruptor ulti online. Dogfights only level 5 here, but they do have the Ion Shell. They have the Surge as well. I believe In-July does he have his mech finished up yet? Almost finished up on the mech as well. So making a nice, quick, aggressive move coming out. They want to get some deep wards coming out. FY actually breaks the smoke, gets glimpse back, though. He's got Snowball, but nope. Never mind.
Storm already in spot, ready to go before a Snowball could come out, and they'll turn it into a nice little solo pick. That could help Darkseer get that finish on that mech.
Yep, very close to him. With Iron Talon and Arcane Boots, 11 minutes. He's doing very well for himself. Paparazzi as well has his Midas, already on his way toward that point booster if he wants to go for it. Boots Travel online for freeze.
Okay, big items coming in, and ROTK is level 6, and Stampede's also good to go. But really, who's in the better fighting shape? It feels like it's still going to be IG at this point.
Sakata goes for the Midas as well. They feel like they have the late game secured and everything, and he wants to be able to match the farm of the Terrorblade. That's also a very hard thing for Lifesteal to really do if you're not always just being involved in kills all the time. You want to be able to match that farm somehow.
Yeah, plus you don't have an immediate vehicle that's going to be ready to go. I mean, I don't know how Dogspite's farm is, but I don't imagine he's getting a Blink Dagger any minute, so it's like you might as well prolong and wait and get the armlet until you have that bomb ready to go. So making the most of the timing window to kind of accelerate the farm is definitely feeling like a solid choice here.
Smoke coming out from VG. They don't have any Blink Daggers online, but they do have the Tusk to kind of act as that pseudo-type Blink Dagger to break the distance, but Paparazzi just finishes up one camp. He's going for the second one. Are they going to be able to get it here? No, they just want to go for the securing of the tower with the next use of meta.
Yeah, they scan behind the tower to see if maybe anyone's lurking behind it, but it's not going to get a read.
This is good. I mean, towers are very important with a Tinker lineup always, especially with a Terrorblade lineup too. Just opening up the map control so you can get more places to farm, and also letting the Tinker have more places so he can boost travel in and just take enemy jungle farm as well. Having those methods are very important. ROTK getting some pressure on him. Sakata with the nice rage. The Sunstrike coming out. ROTK juking it.
Okay then. Ankles broken from the Invoker on that one. Will not allow him to get the finish. And Sakata is going to have to pack up shop and walk away. Rotations coming out. Does draw a lot of focus from VG to be there at the assistance of ROTK.
It almost looks like he could see that Sunstrike. You see that like perfect little move around it?
Somebody check that computer.
What's going on here?
Whatever the case may be,
ROTK.
I'm sure teammates are calling it out. You know, maybe they're even seeing the Invoker cast in the spell, and they're like, ROTK, please.
Just got to keep that in the back of your mind always when you're playing versus an Invoker. Just those little cuts can always make a big difference when you're, if you're running in one direct path, he's probably going to Sunstrike in that one, especially if you're slowed. So small little turnarounds and just like turnbacks always work well versus the Sunstrikes. Very aggressive wards coming out from VG in the enemy jungle, able to see the rotations as well from IG.V.
Yep. So it looks like they may have just pinged on top of that ward. They spot it there with the sentry. Nice eyes. IG, though, very thirsty for this tier 1. We saw them vacuum their way through those trees to catch anybody.
Oh, glimpses the illusion. Wants to save his ward, but no, the second one will get it. 100 gold for aggressive. Yeah, IG.V is just trying to claim any type of tower pressure, tower damage, even chip damage is good versus Tinker. Of course, because of March, it's just always difficult to be able to handle through that.
It's a bit of what we see from IG here, from IG.V. Yeah. Really pressuring the objectives when they know. The late game scaling could be a bit more tricky here in this one when you're going against VGJ.
They'll probably have to go for like, I mean, if they want to like siege high ground without like through kills, they might want to go for like the Guardian Greaves into the pipe, something like this for in July into like the Blink Dagger, maybe probably Blink first just so they can get that big team fight potential. Since in July is their since Dogfight is their big team fight besides the Darkseer, he's gonna have a late Blink, so there's another way to kind of like bring him into the fights.
Yeah. He's going to be their only way to
This is nice. This is a great rotation, though. Quick rotation from the mid lane. Tinker not in position to be able to defend this one, and they might even just bring this tier 2 down. But as I say this, it looks like VGJ is setting up for a smoke. ROTK did just finish up that Blink Dagger. Global Silence is online.
It's a big one. They could stampede their way in with a global and get a lot of people along the way. But I like Super's positioning. He could be forced to just tank the gank or wait out for a Glimpse TP.
Global coming out.
Shows up, but they move in with the global to prevent anyone from being sent back home packing. And they get the immediate kill on the DS. Now Sakata Warless Punch. We've seen this story before, buddy. And he will get stopped from Rage TPing out.
Good rotations coming out from Vici.
Great global used too.
Yep.
I mean, otherwise that Tinker could have been sent back packing. It was a good position there from the Disruptor, but yeah, they dish out all the stops from Vici to take that fight that they needed.
Yeah, and July maybe playing a little bit too high up. He wanted to get maybe like a combo with the Disruptor, but getting caught out by the Centaur, just getting blown up, instantly unable to get his mech off or anything.
Yeah.
Needs to be a little bit careful when he's the one of the most farms cores on his team.
Now Metamorph turnaround. VGJ looking to claim their third tier 1 tower. A rotation comes out from in July. Disruptor's already here, but do they have enough to stop VGJ from claiming this one?
They've got the combos if they want to. VGJ seems to be a little bit reluctant on sieging this one without Global and without Stampede.
IG will see it too. They have some of those deep wards that the pull-off will be there. If they get a glimpse back on in July with some help nearby, could be pretty good, but it looks like they're not going to make a move for anything at this moment. So back away they go. We see Freeze here, closer to the Blink Dagger. You know, step 2 of step 6 for your Tinker, whatever it may be. Whether it be the Aether Lens, Agnums, heavy favoring of the Burst and the Laser, which I would imagine being able to get out more marches and laser through the illusions, perhaps? Or do you think there's a need to maybe go for heavy burst? I mean, against Terrorblade, or not against Terrorblade, against Lifestealer, maybe under the global, you're trying to get the most damage possible?
But it depends on how he feels like he wants. We've seen a lot of like the Aether Lens into the Aghanims just so you have that boost potential in team fights. And VGJ doesn't really have the greatest team fight. They have the Centaur and the global coming on top. I think Aghanims would probably suit pretty well just to have that burst potential and increased team fight from it. We'll see which one he wants to go for. Blink into Aether into Ags tends to be the more common one, but we did see at the group stages, we did see a Blink into Dagon, I think 1 or 2 times.
It's Blink period now in this game. Dogfight needs his Blink. It looks like he's got it, and we saw the Armlet almost done. In fact, his Blink is going to be going by himself.
On top.
Sunstrike
Gets the snowball off, though.
Yep, saves himself from the burst
and
of
now the
damage.
turnaround.
And ROTK shows up and gets redemption. Poor Dogfights.
14 int now on it, Fenrir. Losing int as Sand King 2 when you go Tranquil Boots is pretty painful. Thankfully, you get that mana talent if he does want to go for it, which he probably will.
It looks so tempting, too. Like, you're in the trees, you got your Blink, you're ready to show off, you got a Soul Tusk, you think with the Sunstrike.
The Sunstrike was slow, though. It was a little bit off the mark, because since Sand King stun lasts for like 2.2 seconds, you always should be able to get the Sunstrike on time, so it's just a little bit of a miscommunication maybe coming out from IG.V, but also a quick reaction coming out from FY for that snowball.
Look how they can be punished for it. Immediately aggressive. Back on the objective warpath here with that Metamorph.
That's a big fear of when they do use the epicenter. That's their big defender of these tier 1s, these tier 2s. I mean, tier 1s are all mostly dead. So whenever he uses that, that's VGJ's time to just go time.
Yeah, Blink Epi Lifestealer Bomb is by far the biggest like weapon that IG have. And now without the fear of dogfights nearby, go dogfights. Burrows in, eats some shots. Tier 3 will end up going down. And VG seeing if they can grab a hold of any scraps here. Ninja Light moves within the trees, and they're going to make their jump. There is a counter Static Storm that is going to be coming out and allow them to get the finish on OTK, but so much damage is firing out from Aggressive that they should be able to get the finish on not just Okata, but they'll take down Dogfights too. VGJ still with a significantly heavy-handed fight, taking a tier 2 and a double kill for your Terrorblade makes it all the sweeter.
They're always happy with that, you know, even if the Tusk like snowballs in the Centaur, they go for like this kind of like, maybe you look at it and you're like, man, that's a big dive, but Aggressive, whenever they do that, you force the Static Storm on one location, you force all the aggression on one side, and then Aggressive just stand there, just going to town onto the Lifestealer, just right-clicking non-stop.
Oh no, this is when I start looking at the hero picks a bit closer and deciding how we feel about something like the Darkseer in this kind of a game. He's going to be providing later on great high ground defense, but you know, up to this point, I guess you were hoping to get these Greaves online and then come together, push, and take objectives, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, he's still getting bursted down. They're not really able to group up and go for those type of things. I'm not really seeing them use the Infest bombs either. I just think I heard one actually, but we'll take a look at that in a second after this replay. Dogfights not really able to get like nice initiations. We don't see like a vacuum combo, and here we go. We do see the Infest come out. We did hear it. So I think that's what they need to be doing. They need to be using the Sand King with the Infest bombs, and then they can have the Darkseer come in for a follow-up. They can't just like Darkseer run in and try to make this engagement. In July has to be hiding for the most part in these situations, because if he gets jumped on with the Centaur and he gets globaled, sure, now he has Guardian Greaves, he can still get burst by the amount of damage that VGJ shows. So he really needs to be very careful with his positioning, because he is the master for his team fights for them.
That's where, you know, also look at the pick a bit more. It's like, did you need a second backup? Did you need another insurance policy to be able to make these fights start, lead in, maybe be the extra vehicle for the Lifestealer? Well,
ROTK. This might be where they use an Epicenter. This one's worth it.
Okay, there's the Epi.
Yeah, he should go down here with the Sunstrike. Yeah.
There's the move. Is it going to be enough?
Oh my goodness, with the hood activation, he's actually not brought down by it. It's only a level 1 Epicenter. Wow. I actually thought they might have enough damage to bring him down there, but underestimating how much magic resistance he actually has.
Epi down. Let's see with this given window what VG could actually do about it.
Damn, he actually survived that. I really thought they were going to get him that one.
Centaur too strong. Too big.
Yeah, that hood. Good purchase coming out for OTK. Probably going to be finishing up the pipe as well, since the Sand King Disruptor. It's a lot of magic damage burst coming out.
And there's Paul, who's enjoying the game as well.
Hi, Paul.
I'd like to see the game, not Paul. Always a pleasure, though.
Yeah. So we do have a smoke coming out for VG. Looks like they're trying to get some invasion happening and using their ultimates up, since everything is up except for Stampede, which will be shortly. They're trying to make their own aggressive position. IG.V. Scan comes out by Radiant. They do catch a couple.
Okay, can they make the move? Dogfight goes into Sandstorm. That decides to make his own jump in for ROTK.
Nice meatball combo.
But there's the combo. Coming out aggressive though, flexes his muscles right through it, popping the BKB into Metamorph, and shoves IG back, saying, I'm glad you got that set up, but you're not going to do anything about it. But ROTK does get glimpsed back inside, and they hit him with a bomb combo. ROTK goes down. They do commit the Static Storm. IG take their win, and I think VG take their leave.
Maybe a little bit of a preemptive Static Storm, but just wanted to make sure that the Centaur doesn't get brought down. Probably wanted to cover in case there's like a snowball and something on top, but good defense there coming out for IG.V, but they had to commit a lot. Stampede wasn't online either for VGJ, but they did use their BKBs coming out from the Terrorblade meta as well, so great defense coming out from IG.V. Nice combo there,
I was a little concerned because
I saw the meatball and I was like, uh-oh, and then in July just was like, I got this, I'm
gotta say though, after the initial combo, it didn't look like it hit VGJ that hard. I mean, maybe the credit comes from the pipe that
the BKB
has and the BKB. But yeah, they were still able to make swings.
I'm not sure if he actually has the pipe finish. I think he only has the hood on himself just still,
that's
yeah.
Right.
But still, I mean, he blocks a lot of it with the barrier for himself. It's 325, plus the reduction definitely does make a big difference.
Action thing or whatever it's called looks the same there, but
very similar.
Here, VG shrugged that one off. Not able to get that tier 2 down the mid. Possible eyes closer towards the Roche pit at this point in time, but whatever the case may be. VGJ back to the grind here, working around, of course, their cooldowns, working around the timing, of course, of freeze.
It looks like he's going to go for that Aghanims, just going for a bit more team fight potential. And just, I mean, it's good stats. It's always like, it's not always really a Dagon game when you're versus like a Lifestealer and an Invoker. You can burst down the Invoker, but Lifestealer always has that rage. RTK, very aggressive blink coming in.
And
uses Stampede and Paparazzi's
just
like,
so angry that that gank didn't work out. He had to call out the Stampede for it, but slipped and gone. Invoker not going to get caught on this day. Holds High's net worth right now. Are we concerned at all for IG and their Lifestealer here?
That's, yeah, I was going to say, we're concerned for the Lifestealer.
He's a little underfarmed. You know, he's even trailing behind the Darkseer on this one. This could help, though. Let's get some bombs underway here. Let's get him some kills. Get him some money. See if they can find a setup here, and it looks like poor little Super could pay the price, but nope. It's FY on the other end who ends up getting dished. Now a setup, Static Storm as they try to move on forward, but the rockets are flying out, hitting the supports on those back lines. And VG take one of their own. ROTK thinking about chasing the dogfights, but he's already long gone. Static Storm was committed there, and a Metamorph it looks like, so they'll have to make something out of it.
Maybe a slight advantage for IG.V. Have forcing that BKB and forcing the meta, and then it's a trade for the support. They get more experience for killing FY, a little bit more gold as well. So that's a little slight win, small wins. Just wanted to correct myself as well. Sand King actually does not have a mana talent. I'm a noob. And he only gets armor or magic resistance. He ends up going for the armor this time. And he's building toward a Veil, so he's trying to amplify the team fight potential rather than going for like a 4-staff type of save thing. He's just trying to amplify all their damage, so interesting little approach by Dogfights.
Here is VGJ, though, still with the back end of the Metamorph. And their Tinker kind of pressuring down this mid lane a bit. IG just fully residing within their own jungle here, taking all that farm for themselves. But it looks like they're going to set up something new. Super's got the stuff. Looks like he's waiting for everyone else to head over a bit. No, they're going to take their business all the way bottom. I thought they might smoke and make a play happen, but it's attention to the Roche Pit here.
It's good that they're using the Infest, though, like every single time now it's up. They're trying to go for those type of plays. Paparazzi's pushing out side lanes. Now he has a BKB finished up to deal with that global, to deal with those type of jump potentials coming out and the massive magical burst. Bottom lane, though, looks like the Epi is going to be coming out onto Freeze when he boxes in. Sunstrike on the mark, cleans up. Nice, that was a good read. That's why they ended up going for bottom. They predicted him to be moving, so excellent read there by Dogfights making that move.
Yeah, taking the cross-country trip certainly pays off. Feeling that maybe Vici were adding too much pressure towards the mid and top lane. Leaves the Tinker open and alone. Good grab up there for IG, and now feeling a bit more confident for themselves.
Sakata going for a very, very fight-oriented build. Fenrir is 91% kill participation in this game. Very impressive.
Intel stolen.
A lot of it from the Sand King, because the Sand King has very low base in right now, as far as I can see.
Mild glimpse send back as Paparazzi begins his siege forward for this tier 1. They are positioned nearby, ready, but it is Vici on the high ground.
Pipe is ready. In July has the Pipe finished. He has the Guardian Greaves. They have Echo Saber finished on Lifestealer. He's going for the Mjolnir build, as I was mentioning. So he's like want to push side lanes in, also wanted to deal with the Terrible Illusions, and just wanted to be like just a fighting force. Aggressive, gets spotted in the tree line. He's got BKB and everything. He's just able to walk out, though, with that tree cut.
No connection with a tornado.
ROTK, though, showing himself. The combo coming in with the vacuum. Meteor, Deafening Blast, cleans up ROTK. They have to disengage. Aggressive, running away, though, with the meta used. Didn't have to use BKB. Paparazzi uses his BKB, and it looks like IG.V is going to be a bit satisfied with that one since they forced the meta.
Yeah, right to the Roche Pit. Why not? Centaur's out of this one. 35 seconds.
They've still got Wall. They still got Epi. They still got Static Zone. Paparazzi's very low on mana, though, which is a little bit concerning.
They're heading that way. Maybe to be able to do something about it. Tinker nearby with the power of a Shrine if it's available. He can spam out a lot of spells and make it very difficult for IG to be able to follow through with this.
They're waiting out the meta. They only need to wait like 20 more seconds, not even. They don't have a Shrine up, though, so Paparazzi does have to go back to base. He was very unhealthy on the mana department. So.
Factor of that.
Yeah, they just
DK would be back soon. It's just not the right time.
Not worth the risk at this moment. They're feeling like they have their Midas built on the Lifestealer. They have the Invoker for the late game as well.
That's good. One bad fight there, and IG would just give away pretty much the advantage that they built up for themselves. And attend to the nearby jungle and the farm there. VGJ kind of come nearby, still acknowledging the presence of that Roche and wanting to be near it. They can simply put the Tinker out there to kind of help with those side lanes where necessary, which is currently the bottom. But
Global's still down. Got to make the plays happen.
yeah, IG go back on the warpath here, smoked up, looking to be able to get this good pick. There's an illusion nearby. No smoke pop though, so they're moving on.
Here we go. They
And
might
they're
have
gonna
to
have
get
a
the
high
wrap
ground.
around here. FY. Fenrir is going to be the one to get grabbed up.
Yep.
And he bursted FY. Does he even get the snowball? He's not able to get it in time, though. He gets hit by the Sunstrike, too, and he should be brought down quite easily here as well. Kinetic field a little bit off the mark.
Are FY going to make it out? Yes.
Oh,
with the help
man,
of
he
the
actually gets out with the
Stampede.
Stampede. No, he gets cleaned up.
A lot committed already for VGJ to try to get those saves as they lose 2. That will secure the Roche now for IG. They head right back for it.
I was like, I got speechless for a moment because I was like, oh my God, he's going to live. What's going on here?
I mean, VGJ have been able to pull a lot of those kind of fast ones this game, in this series already, but this time, no, not going to be the case.
Not with the glimpse follow through. Freeze
Tinker's
getting in a good
nearby.
position, getting some marches thrown out. They do have a ward on the high ground though with Static Storm coming in. Freeze, Meatball, Sunstrike cleaned up. Beautiful ward coming out from IG.V on that high ground to secure themselves of Roche. 48 seconds on the Tinker. Global is back online, but will VGJ want to fight this? Is Meta
It's
back
taken
up?
him a while to bring it down with Paparazzi dancing within and out of the pit. Now Metamorph running into action. Aggressive is going to get hit with the stuns. Now pops his BKB and turns back with the right-click Roche. Helping up from behind. Sunders onto Sakata and brings him low. Vacuum wall counterplay going to be there, but is it going to be enough for IG, or is the damage already going to be done? They turn back, looking to go for aggressive. Rolling forward is going to be
Three-man
FY
stun.
looking to assist. They can't seem to bring down aggressive. They'll finally get him down, only after he gets the double kill. Now VGJ jump back towards their side here, taking a more significant fight and preventing IG from doing the Roche. It is just so difficult for them to commit inside the pit. Even after the successful pickup on Tinker, who's not involved in this fight whatsoever, that just means that suddenly the Metamorph is up, plus the Global.
Yeah.
VGJ have a lot of weapons to be able to bring out. Even then, as they lose 1, they have another 2 to work with.
Having the meta up there, having the BKB up from the aggressive, he just, like you said, flexes muscles. He literally runs right into the pit, just man fighting a couple times, just turns to Sakata, and he's like, oh, full heal, thank you, Sunder. Continue, though, IG.V showing that Paparazzi in July, these 2 other cores, they're still very, very farmed. Lots of damage and teamfight potential coming out from these 2.
Lots of respect here for both sides, as they'll have to back off a bit now.
The Terrorblade illusion as well from the wall from in July was beating the crap out of everybody too.
Very helpful.
Everything adds up. Dogfights wasn't actually able to get the Epicenter off in that fight either. FY was doing a very good job of zoning him, but he got a couple good stuns that
Okay, third try here for IG, but then here comes the shards, and here comes VGJ saying, can you guys please stop it?
Oh,
with the
FY
Roche.
got clipped by that EMP. So FY is completely for this upcoming engagement.
Is that Shrine nearby available? He blinks across to it, and it looks like it
yeah.
is.
He needs it.
Very thankful. Thank you, Frog, for adding in these sweet, delicious water pools of life.
They do see that though. So IG.V do see the 2 of them over there. They do spot that. And VGJ actually tries to de-ward the high ground vision there. They don't find it.
They didn't find it. They actually got both sides of the ward, but not the ward itself, so they're still under the watchful eye. And they moved him for the bomb, trying to get a hold of FY, but he gets the snowball off, and his team is coming in from behind. He still manages to blink away and dodge the tornado. He's putting him on a serious wild goose chase, and finally July steps in, gets off the wall vacuum onto aggressive. He's going to be forced to pop BKB and go in for dogfights. They will get the dogfights kill. A 1-for-1 trade at the moment, costing them the global silence. But look who shows up on the other side. It's Paparazzi blasting it on in. Gonna get the finish as he takes out Freeze. Now maybe IG for the 4th attempt will be able to move into the pit and finally get this Roche.
Yeah, it looks like they should be able to clean this one up finally.
That
ward,
vision. Yeah,
that ward is, the vision is just owning them right now in this entire game. They put up a second one after the other one went down. They have another one over there in the high ground though, so they're able to see all the different avenues that VGJ tried to take to go for that Roche fight. Meta was not expended, thankfully, though. It was on cooldown when he did pop the BKB from aggressive.
Just a serious flurry of events the whole mid game to finally take the Roche. That was like the Roche saga. It's over now, and finally passed him behind. We got to see what IG are going to be able to do with the benefit of the Aegis. And here we see a quick jump for FY, but look
Quick
how
force
long.
from Fenrir.
Yeah, look how long it takes him to finally get that kill.
But the positioning from IG.V is very good in this fight. Look at them all kind of segregated on the right. There's no reveal for dogfights up here on the top left. FY gets hit by the vacuum wall. They do kind of disengage from it, but still, the damage is done. The Terrorblade illusion is there. The Invoker ends up blinking onto the high ground there, deafening blast onto the non-BKB'd Terrorblade, able to clean up the Tinker as well from that one. So nice little fight there coming out from IG.V with the vision. Just vision, very important for this one. Same thing in the last game. Look around the Roche pit. There's like 4 vision wards, 3 sentries.
Yeah, if I dropped all those in a pub, people would think I was so bad because they're just all on top of each other. But you can
Dog
see
fights.
the critical vision necessary for these fights. They're making a move from Fender. He's able to get the force off, but they'll glimpse him right back and get the finish.
Quick, fast-paced fights from IG.V, just constantly trying to run at them, make stuff happen because the Global is down. Global is a long cooldown.
Go.
Every single time you've got the Sand King, you've got the Infest, just try to go, go, go. They've got the Aegis as well. Now there's their time to attempt to siege. It's still very difficult versus the Tinker, though. They do have Pipe finished up on in July, as we were mentioning earlier, so guarding Greaves with Pipe, they have a lot of different ways to mitigate the damage so they can siege a bit better. They have Lift forced out. FY, trying to spam out Cicada a little bit.
And can they burst him down enough? He gets the pipe to help with the missile. Aggressive will have to eat the Tornado EMP. It looks like they may be able to hold the tier 2, at least for now, as Fender needs about 10 seconds more time to be up with the Global ready to go. Maybe VGJ try to use that Global as he comes back. Greaves, though, has been popped. FY will be able to blink away from the open wounds.
Oh, dogfights.
Okay.
Ooh, quick blink.
But the snowball chase is there. Can't go much further. IG are able to pull off just in time, but after getting a pickup on Premier moving forward, they only do a little bit of softening damage on a tier 2. Not as much objectively at the moment as they would like, so they have to go back to the farm.
Yep, Cicada thankfully went for like the Mjolnir build, so he's going to be able to push lanes out very quickly. He's also going to be able to do good damage on the team fights. You see the 15s coming out, the talent coming up. Talent, so 2 supports are going to be pretty fast to die.
The way they're too. I don't know if it's an acknowledgement of the Yule's pick up on the Disruptor. He could just take off the Global and be there with the Static Storm or Glimpse or anything else, so that's great.
It's always great to speak of the devil. Fenrir just gets caught out again by another Infest Gang. This great aggression coming out from IG.V. I really like Yule's pick up on Disruptor because it's also, you can use it in aggressive manners as well as defensive manners. You can throw it like the Tinker's in a bad position. You just throw him in the air, you Static Storm under, and there's no way that he can get out of it. The same thing with like the Centaur, maybe with the Tusk as well. You have both defensive and aggressive potentials with it.
Definitely feels like VG have been totally on the defensive side of things for this one, as opposed to what we saw in like the previous game with ROTK Centaur making huge setups, huge plays, jumps, blink and stomps. But this game he has been unfortunately a bit neutered on that front.
Yeah, they don't have nearly as much as team fight in comparison to IG.V. So when those team fights do happen, and since their team fight there has much longer cooldown coming from the meta and from the Global Silence and from like Stampede, fighting into IG.V is a bit harder because IG.V just really, they need a stun with an Infest and then maybe like a Vacuum on top, and they can get maybe 1 or 2 kills. Sure, they have a lot of other ultis that do have some long cooldowns, but they don't need them for a lot of those. Nice little deny from Aggressive.
Frickin' backdoor protection is just like trolling them so they can't finish it, and Aggressive's like, I'll take care of it for you. They get denied a bit of gold, but they get their second tier 2 down, advancing this game forward. It's IG fighting with everything they got to keep this series alive and push it to a game 3. Coming off a strong performance yesterday, shutting down LFY, and as we know, VG pulling out a nice best of 1, taking a game that probably wasn't rightfully theirs away from NP, and still holding things alive here in the lower bracket.
Fenrir knows something's up. He has a ward in the jungle. They did see dogfights hiding down here, so they're going to go for the scout.
Sigil.
They're going to spot him in a second.
Spot him. Can you hit him real quick? Hit him real quick. No.
He should
right
be able to
under
get
his nose.
The chase on. They have the Stampede for the slow. He is infested still with Cicada. The punch was already used, so Cicada can still TP out if he wants to.
His rage is already out there,
Doesn't have one, though.
Tornado is there. EMP. Paparazzi
Big combo.
Hits him so hard. He's like, maybe we can make a fight out of it. He will be able to get the burst onto FY. Aggressive is forced to pop his BKB for it. Now IG can look to chase him down. Aggressive on the run, but he gets slowed with the Ghost Walk right there, and the Glimpse catches him, and they pull him right back into a beautiful Static Storm combo. A Global going to be forced, but it's just going to be too late. 1 by 1, VG have to run.
Paparazzi's going ham right now.
Paparazzi, the man, the magician. Looking for more, not going to catch the Tornado on that one, but makes the setup right there.
Beautiful combo there. Great discipline coming out from Cicada just to stay in the fight. They already know dogfights. He's a Sand King. He already got the minus 30-second respawn talent. He comes back very quickly. Cicada still had the Aegis there. It was getting reclaimed very shortly. It did get reclaimed like right in the middle of the fight, kind of. Yeah. But Aggressive needing to force that, pop that BKB early from the beautiful combo from Paparazzi. ROTK with the stun coming in. Sand King stun off the mark.
Oh, Vacuum is there, but VG not caught in the midst of it. They're looking to scrap around the outside and get more. Dogfights will also go down with the help of the missiles firing out. Tier 3 holds on. Sunstrike.
Just
rare. Barely alive on that one. Good high ground hold as expected with this Tinker lineup from VG, but IG will claim a bit more.
FY gets the courier. He really wanted that. He's stuck on the high ground now, though. Do they want to go for this? No, it's too close to the shrine. It's a bit risky for them. They don't feel like they want to do that.
It's crazy to think also how the turn of events could have changed so much more. Let's say if FY was able to get a hold of dogfights in that initial tree line part. I don't think Paparazzi would have been able to make it over in time. The same with the tornado, but unfortunately he didn't catch him right under his nose there. Allows all those series of events to break out.
Very fortunate series of events coming out from IG.V. We do see Invoker now, level 25. He's got that obnoxious minus 18-second tornado cooldown. So we'll be seeing lots of those being thrown out.
I also happen to see Fenrir with 30 intel.
Yeah.
Even though he keeps getting, I feel like he's tanking a lot of the ganks here in the later game, he's still finding his way to be a part of these fights.
When you see a Sand King with a Veil and he only has 500 something mana, you know that he's dying a lot to near that silencer.
I'm just not getting much smarter here. But working his way to building up into more mobility and more mana pool, of course, to even work with there. VG, though, on a bit of the offensive here. It's kind of dark on the side of IG, so maybe looking to make a bit of invade, plant down some of those wards, be able to keep track of the movements of IG. And now even bringing in Tinker towards the mid lane. It looks like a siege is on here. We haven't seen VG go back on the across the river in a while, so.
Yeah, I think that the DD Terrorblade is like the big one, and they have the global, so they're like, all right, we keep getting gone on ourselves. We have global, let's try to make something happen. DD, though, wearing off, looks like IG.V trying to make the pressure happen.
Oh, they saw the Tinker go to the bottom lane here. Maybe they're hoping to take a fight in the mid before he can show up.
Fenrir's like, I'll tank the gank.
I do it. It's my service to the team. But they stampede.
They do want to go for this engagement.
Fight. Injulight runs right towards the high ground and towards the open arms of VG, but now the rest of IG are going to be able to show up. Vacuum wall right on the staircase above. Aggressive tries to move the low ground, but he gets hit with the Deafening Blast back. Now Dogfight shows up with the Epi and the team fight here. FY very low. Him and Aggressive slowly try to walk their way back, but they're going to be able to get the catch. Freeze goes down to the power of Sakata and Disruptor, and it's just going to be all IG all day on this one as they wipe the floor with 5. Aggressive doing everything he can to try to stay alive, but he goes down. Sakata with a double kill. This fight is all IG. Roche is up, but they are going down the mid lane.
It almost looked like they didn't really want to fight. They put Fenrir on the low ground. I guess they were expecting to take the fight onto the high ground, but a great wraparound coming out from IG.V just completely catches VG off guard. It looked like Fenrir kind of knew, but he did. I guess he was positioning himself on the opposite side, gets picked off, and then they still try to go for the engagement. Paparazzi with a beautiful combo, pretty much killing ROTK, burning lots of the mana on the fight. Then Dogfights with a nice epicenter can follow up. Just beautiful spell coordination coming out from IG.V.
Beautiful. IG.V kind of sense they see the Tinker bottom lane. That was all set up from a wonderful smoke wraparound. VG were they were convinced that IG were going to be defending that mid lane somehow, and they were going to have the high ground advantage and make an approach, but they were wrong on that one. And look at the rewards coming in from IG from it. They claim the mid lane and get the tier 2 here in the bottom on top of it. Not the end of the world here for VG.
Painful, though. Aggressive having to buy back as well is very, very painful now.
This is very painful. They've certainly got the air knocked right out of them. And it's just kind of even more overtime for Freeze now. He's just going to have to split out the pressure as much as possible and try to hit that critical mass and just be that high ground defenders that they know they have the strength to be. But as long as IG kind of able to dish out this pressure, I'd imagine they also, what do you think, late game scaling? I don't know. Invoker Lifesteal are very...
Invoker has that, he always has that like big like question mark because he can scale so, like he can pretty much scale like almost infinitely if he gets the proper spell combinations, if BKBs are down. Just depends on how many heroes he hits as well. I mean, Alacrity is always going to be super powerful into later stages of the game. Lifestealer went for a very scaling lineup with item build with that Midas, now into the Mjolnir, now into the AC next.
He's pretty late game right now, though.
And Disruptor is almost going to have an Aghanims as well. I think VG's feeling very pressured, very, very
And they're going right in. I don't know if IG are ready for this one. They stampede and hit the global, and that means that Lifestealer can't pop out of dogfights on this one. They're going to be connecting with a nice little tornado play, but Aggressive looking to go for the finish. Can't quite get it on there. Zinjalite will get dropped. Dogfights takes his package out the other side. Now a return fire comes out. Paparazzi and Super isolate a hold of Aggressive here, trying to drop down the stack storm, but RTK jumps in, gets off the 2-man stomp. And FY and company have to back on out. Paparazzi able to get the finish. RTK can't quite run away. They catch him with a tornado. And they'll get him with one last right click. Double kill for Paparazzi.
just because of how much of a deficit that they're at right now, this Darkseer, they get the jump on him, but you see how tanky he is? He just gets the pipe off. He has Shivas already, uses Guardian Greaves, just not able to bring him down in time, and that's when the fight just prolongs for a bit too long. The BKB starts going down from aggressive, then Paparazzi just goes berserk, dropping all of his spells everywhere. Even though the Lifestealer wasn't on the left side of the fight, he was fighting on the right side, it still didn't matter. It was the Paparazzi show with the Static Storm on top of aggressive.
And it's hard to say within that moment if VG needed to kind of target something differently. There was Sand King right there stuck under the silence. If he could have maybe burst him down and forced to get the Lifestealer out early on, it could have been a bit different here, but they move in and they've already scouted out the Darkseer and they're like, let's just go for him. But like you said, this guy's durable as hell.
And Paparazzi getting the Tornado off before Aggressive's able to get that BKB, so Aggressive loses a lot of his damage potential. The BKB's already only 5 seconds, so he gets glimpsed back into a Static Storm, and then, yeah, he's just dead from there.
Yeah, it's over. And then Freeze unable to get involved. They were able to kind of force him out from the fight. This one's looking like all IG at this point. They'll claim the Roche and the Aegis here. They've already claimed 2 lanes of racks.
Yeah, Paparazzi's having an incredibly good showing this game on the Invoker in July on the Darkseer too. Maybe had a couple slip-ups, but ever since once he started realizing what he needed his position to be, ever since he picked up that pipe, since he picked up that plate mill, he's much more innately tanky. Doesn't need to really have worry about his positioning too much, and they're just bringing it to fruition.
Here comes IG, feeling like they're running down that home stretch.
Level 25 already on Lifestealer too, so this is where he can match up even better versus Terrorblade, because now, even though he's already over-farmed, he gets that plus 15 armor as well. With AC, he's sitting on, I don't know, like 50-something armor versus Terrorblade. That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, he's like the only physical defense to come out from this one.
Yeah. 47 armor on a Lifestealer versus a Terrorblade.
It's okay.
That's like 70% damage reduction, you know?
Dang. Now, still respect for Vici and their high ground defense, the Marching Machines, the Global that's going to possibly be there.
Refresher now on Paparazzi too with the BKB, so he can always be able to get the Refresher BKB. Even if he gets Globaled after the first one, he can refresh it and do it again. So Paparazzi, we're going to be seeing a lot of spells coming out of him.
Who likes magic?
Eyes on the Magic Man.
Who wants to watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat? There, though.
Big vacuum combo.
Pullback, good in the wall. Not good enough for the lockdown finish, but look how they drag FY back in. He tries to blink back, but ooh, Glimmer, and no connection with the Sunstrike.
Yep, not wanting to dive into tier 4s. I mean, they've already committed to the wall, but then it's like, ooh, we should not really be here. They forced a Stampede at least, and now a little bit more discipline coming out from IG.V, just letting the side lanes push in a bit, going for that type of slow game, just methodical.
It is. I mean, Vici are holding on to their last real strength in this game and their high ground defense. And IG not looking to underestimate or throw away the advantage they built up for themselves at this point to close the game out. One set of racks pretty much puts the nail in the coffin here and secures their game 3. But VGJ, we don't want to let this go. Tornado EMP is going to force out a BKB. It will. And now they're going to be forced to fight also on top of it with the help of the Global. Can they get the burst to finish out Paparazzi here? At least get the Aegis down. They can't quite get it. Oh, IG are going to be able to turn back with a Static Storm and a Burrow coming out from dogfights, but they will be able to burst down the Sand King. ROTK also goes down. Sunder there for Sakata brings him pretty damn low, but Aggressive gets thrown up in the air and down to his Sunstrike. He does manage to get the first initial burst and finish on the Darkseer, but eventually IG will be able to turn around and chomp him to bits. He's out of this one without a buyback, and that could be Vici throwing in the towel. Freeze is the last man standing for this defense. A buyback forced out just for IG to try to close this one out, and they'll get it. And they have earned their game 3.
I really like the approach they did this game. I think the lanes ended up being much better for them. They kept forcing Vici to make these adjustments. It's just like they kept switching the lanes up. Terrorblade, he was pretty much like jungling for the most part, but I really like their approach of picking this like massive magic damage lineup because they forced Aggressive to go for kind of like an early BKB, and you could see into those like mid-game fights, his BKB was down to 5 seconds super early. He pops it, he isn't able to bring anybody down during that BKB iteration because of the durability from the Darkseer, and then the fight just gets turned around. They get a huge combo coming out from Paparazzi, huge combo coming out from dogfights. Just honestly very good coordinated team fights coming out from IG.V, very disciplined, and they made it look really strong. In July, Darkseer pulling it up, some nice big combos coming out, but I think another testament is the vision.
The vision was
that
out of
vision around the
control.
Roche pit was so important.
They recognized the value of that Roche pit. They recognized that Vici wanted to have a say in it, and they just wanted to punish them for it. And, you know, for Vici on this one, tried to draft a bit of what worked in the previous game, but as was said by the panel and by us, I think IG were a bit more prepared this time. So we got to see what Vici are going to be pulling out for Game 3 to try to stay alive. Let's see what Paul and the panel had to think about Game 2 action.
Thanks very much, Dakota. Yes, we are back at the panel to discuss game number 2. What a turnaround as well. Peter did make the remark, of course, before the break, that you don't always draft the same heroes again because they can get figured out. And that's exactly what's happened, Peter.
Yeah, it seems like it did.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked IG.V for 2 games in a row now. I'm glad I was right at least once.
Yeah, they got to win eventually.
We'll see what happens for this Game 3 prediction.
They did have a better draft, though, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely had way better tools to deal with Silencer, and their core matchups were really well. And I like the Invoker last pick that Purge suggested.
Yeah.
I think the big thing was the fact that Dark Zero always existed to push in lanes. So when you have a hero like that, just always pushing in lanes, always being a threat in the lane, it forces reactions to it. And if you just leave the lane, then you have to worry about him taking your tower for free. So because of that, it doesn't even allow them to use Silencer ultis to take a team fight that they'd want to do. So it just kind of made Silencer this like kind of crappy hero that couldn't actually contribute as much as he maybe wanted to.
Yeah, much less effective this time around.
The Guardian Greaves were huge.
Yep.
Every team fight, he was just clearing global and getting a huge back wall combo, and didn't really have to get a bunch of heroes as long as he just got that Metamorphosis Terrorblade. He was a huge threat.
That's a lot of damage output. FY had a god tier game once again.
This was cool.
Just styling on dogfights routinely in the early game.
This was like one of many. Like
the bottom tier 1 tower.
Yeah,
I love
remarkable
too.
Tusk plays. Like Tusk plays you just don't think Tusks can make, and then he just does it.
Aggressive played this fight really well here. Outputted a lot of damage. At some point, though, you do run out of HP, but I think he got another kill right before he went down. Yeah, killed dogfights.
Big stun
helps kill.
Game gets earlier than that, but FY had another godlike piece of play around the Roche pit where he was basically duking everyone for about 15 seconds just to stay alive. You just look at it.
This is
it
it
wow.
here. This is the one.
It's just crazy.
Went to the Roche, blinks away.
Yeah. Oh, and they're like, where is he?
They had to make a wall that he couldn't walk through. It was actually the only way that he goes down finally.
And even then, he nearly got away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible play.
The game kind of dragged to a point where TB just got kited too much. His BKB gets down to 5 seconds, and I think IG.V adapted to it. Where anytime the TB's BKB just disengage and wait for it to wear up, because once it's gone, like he kept getting glimpsed into ice balls, static storms. He just kept getting chain stunned and controlled so incredibly well by the IG.V side. Paparazzi played a hell of an Invoker and made it very hard for this TB.
Yeah, it was cool to see. I didn't know IG.V kind of like role swapped their heroes. Generally, it's Cicada playing mid, and I expected him to be playing the Invoker coming into this game, but I guess maybe he is the resident Invoker player in IG.V, and Cicada took the back seat and played the Lifestealer incredibly well. But look at that net worth, 27,000 net worth on Invoker. He's so far ahead of everyone else.
How do you nerf this hero, man? Like I feel like almost every single Invoker game that he's played, he's always top 1, top 2 net worth. He always has a huge impact.
Is it not more the players that are playing him, though? I feel like some of the really good players that are playing him.
At some point, you got to nerf the hero, though.
No, but it's a hero that's designed to be ahead. It's like should you nerf Alchemist? Alchemist is always top 1 net worth. Doesn't mean the hero is like has to get nerfed. I mean, maybe you should just because no one wants to see Alchemist. But
do Invokers even lose? I feel like every game Invoker just does amazing things consistently.
He gets so strong at like level 18, 19. He just becomes a totally different hero.
Well, we saw a couple of ordinary-looking Invokers during the group stage. Admittedly, there were a couple of standouts, somehow being one of them, but there's been some average performances too.
I think there's a lot of games where you're like, this is definitely not an Invoker game. Like you see like the Slada Lifesteal drafts. You can't play Invoker versus that kind of fast tempo drafts because the hero, it's level 18, 19. You need a lot of levels, a lot of farm before you actually offer a whole... early to mid game, all you're doing is throwing Sun Strikes while you farm, which is pretty useful, but...
So would you say that maybe Invoker is just good this game because that's situational picks, or...
I think it's definitely a situational pick.
It was a last pick. It's not like they picked it very early in the game. It was the very last pick of, or it was the second to last pick of the game. They didn't really have a lot to deal with it, I suppose.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm too surprised by seeing them win that game. They got really good silencer solutions. They played the game differently. They forced their opponents to react to skirmishes. They got a lot of good ganks late game, especially with Sand King and the Lifestealer. That kind of pressure that they put on was really effective.
Did you pick IG.V?
I did. I was with you on that one.
So you're 2 for 2.
2 for 2 right now.
Oh man, the
King
Oracle
of the predictors.
I'm going with him on game 3.
Talking to Kings, who stood out as MVP this time around? Gods.
Paparazzi.
Yeah.
One guy didn't die. That's going to be him, I think.
I think everyone else did a good job. Super was probably like, I'd say, second MVP. Like he got some really good glimpses and setups for the Invoker, but definitely.
Dogfight's looking a little shaky on anything but Earth
There's an
Spirit and Monkey
LVP
King.
I got to throw out to Dogfights, but
He's having a rough series, isn't he?
He needs to get on his heroes.
Yeah,
They
because
need
that first game wasn't great either.
well, they're banning his heroes. Monkey King and Earth Spirit aren't making it through the first phase, so pretty tough. He needs a third hero that he's just really good with.
You know, this is a pretty big match for IG.V, but the big match later is Paparazzi playing 1v1s.
Oh yeah, that's the one everyone's waiting
That's
for.
what matters.
who's he going up against?
I'm not. Is he? I think he's playing Miracle, isn't he?
Might be.
Yeah,
There's
he's
Burning, Miracle, and
he's playing
SCC, the other
Miracle.
ones. Okay.
Yeah.
This is warm-up. That's why he's playing
This
Invoker.
this next
That's why
tiebreaker.
he's like, let me play mid this game. I got to warm up for later.
But he doesn't get to play Invoker till the
He's gotta
grand
play-
finals.
He's got to play his Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, only from game 2. Does they have to play SF still in the final?
Sakata had
game.
Shadow Fiend.
That guy's really good. Yeah. He keeps almost holding his team into the games. Every single one. Just amazing performances from him, but didn't quite work out.
Okay, so we're tied up at 1-1. Gods, where does the power lay when it happens like this? Does it happen with the
first
second
pick?
team
No,
that
I think
won?
it's first pick. That's where if
Okay.
you're first pick going to game 3, I think you at least have a draft advantage. I think draft is really key at this stage, best of 3. Like you see how from game to game, you see what changes and tweaks you need to make, and I think having first pick gives you a lot more control over the
We've
draft.
seen a few games, Pity, yesterday in particular. Liquid's game springs to mind where they got the draft they wanted, to pick the players, the heroes they wanted, and it still didn't work out. So it's not all about the draft, is it?
No, of course not. It always comes down to play, and the individual plays that the players are able to make throughout the game are going to determine who wins, and that's the beauty of Dota. Like even if you get a little bit outdrafted, you still have a chance. But sometimes if you get really outdrafted, there's not much of a chance.
Yeah. And do we expect the same stubbornness from ROTK in game 3? He's presumably going to move away from some of the core heroes that they've used in the first 2 games.
I think that they will recognize that maybe the same heroes that they used in game 1 weren't particularly the best in game 2, and they'll definitely swap it up. I think what he said about first pick kind of being a big deal is like that Life Stealer or that Earth Spirit pick is pretty important. So it'll be interesting to see who has priority and who decides who gets to choose if they have first pick or not, and how the other team adapts to it.
Yeah, do you feel like, Kevin, we might see one of those 2 Roman supports that we've sent, Monkey King, Spirit, maybe one of them gets through because one of the teams wants to try and get them?
I don't really feel like there's a lot of space for other heroes to be let through there. I feel like the goal here is you keep Silencer, but you let him float a little bit. Don't necessarily open with the draft. Grab him when you know he's going to fit the enemy's lineup a little bit because they have the solution.
And that's where he's been picked before in the group stages. It was always 3-4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit delayed. Either the second pick of the 2 or, second phase, definitely. But, some teams thinking he was the key to winning every series, but there seemed to be some counters.
So what happened in the first game is that VG Gaming had the first pick, overall first pick, and then they banned out like one of Earth Spirit or Monkey King?
Yeah, both teams banned one of them. I think Monkey was banned by IG.V, and then they banned Earth Spirit.
So Earth Spirit was banned by Vici, and then
it flipped around the other way.
IG.V has to worry about Vici first picking Life Stealer or first picking the Monkey King. So they kind of banned the Monkey King, and then Vici just bans that Life Stealer, and then first pick Silencer, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, what are they going to give up? Because I think they might find themselves in a similar boat with not a lot of answers. I think the Life Stealer worked really well for them.
Okay, we're going to get into our second draft very shortly. Let's take some more social media questions. They've been very entertaining. Thank you very much for all of the posts that have been made in the Reddit thread. And please do visit the Reddit thread today and add your questions if you would like to hear the panel answer them. Next one, how hard is the transition from a pub star to a pro player nowadays? Peter, I think you should take the lead on that one. You've had a couple of them. You've certainly got one of the best in the world in your team right now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm like the best person to answer that question. I feel like we got to talk to Sumail, we got to talk to Miracle or SEC or one of these guys.
But all right, let me turn the question on you a little bit. What made you guys take Sumail?
No one else wanted to play with us.
Okay, that's honest. I like it.
To be completely honest, so we had to. We also.
But it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? Pulling in a pub star because you see him. Yeah, okay, great. He's having a lot of fun. He's got 2 or 3 heroes. He's phenomenal on them. He's obviously rated really high MMR. But the pub star that doesn't always translate.
Yeah, we had a couple opportunities to go with other players, but the thing is, with a new player and somebody who, they have potential. They have
Can you mold
potential.
them?
Of course you can, and that's like one of the big reasons we went with Sumail is because we weren't content with being a top 5 team. We wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And picking up somebody that we already knew who was pretty good, just wasn't what we wanted. So we took a chance and a gamble with Sumail, and
You guys kind of like revolutionized how that worked because you were the first team to really take a big, like first tier 1 team take a big risk.
What about like, do you remember?
Because after that was Weeha
what's
Miracle.
that? It starts with an EX. He was a really high. It was like
Excalibur.
Wii and Excalibur.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess.
Like
Yeah.
a couple months before that, those were the first tries. They didn't work out so well, and then I feel like Sumail was the one that really hit.
I mean, Excalibur was kind of a stand-in because that was when Era had his health issues.
It was at the summit. It was still a huge deal.
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Everybody
absolutely
freaked out about it for like weeks, and then
he
he
took
got
a game
on
off
team.
DK.
He's also a specialist. I mean, he played Meepo and Tinker,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, he had 2 heroes, so that changed things. But like after you guys, after that, like that's when Weeha and Miracle got picked up.
The door opened, didn't it? Yeah. Weeha Miracle, and then
Absolutely.
obviously Anna later on, and
I mean,
it's also spread to China now as well. That was unusual when you looked at that because they seem to be the ones that were like, we don't take too many risks. We might put them in our junior team.
A lot of credit has to go to Valve. I think ranked matchmaking and just kind of like the whole idea of people being able to, randomly queue up against the best players in the world added so much. Before, back in the days, it was always just in-house leagues.
Unranked, and pro players didn't try that hard. They would just 5-stack. They wouldn't try super hard to improve their play style. They would just, play pubs. I'm getting better, but they didn't actually sit down and be like, I'm going to play with 4 terrible teammates and carry them no matter the circumstances. That just didn't happen back then.
So if we're coming to a conclusion and an answer, I think it's actually a lot easier nowadays as a pub player
really,
because they can get recognized now because teams are actually taking notice of it.
Because you have the key to the door. You can queue up ranked matchmaking, and Arteezy can queue up ranked matchmaking, and you could play mid against him.
That's
and
true.
You can beat him.
I would say the barrier of entry, though, is just there's so many good players currently that you have to, if you're a fresh Dota player, less than 2 years of game experience, you have to be insanely talented to catch up and surpass them in some ways. So
yeah, but
I think that's the hard part.
In any kind of thing where there's talent and unique skill involved, finding a way, finding like the pathway to get there is so hard to do. And we've seen so many players do it now. It's like, oh, you play ranked matchmaking, you get in like the top 10, you're going to get picked up. Somebody's going to give you a chance. And that's an amazing opportunity that is right there in front of everyone.
Valve kind of removed like the luck factor, like finding like the right opportunity and luck to get noticed. Like, because it used to be a big part
where there's less timing, there's less circumstance. Just play a lot of pubs, really focus, and try to get good.
Impress the right people along the way.